guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kelsi. I'm the creator of Bite-Sized Ancient History and I'm currently a student at the University of Cambridge. So this week, since we're now in exam season, I thought I'd try and do a fun video to just try and relax, and if you're a future university student looking at different schools and universities, this might be helpful as I start to spill the tea on university life, Cambridge, Warwick, and anything related to ancient history. So if this is the kind of thing you're interested in, please like and subscribe. So I asked you all over on Instagram to try and submit some questions or assumptions that you might have about university, Cambridge, or any interest in ancient history really. So I'm going to be trying to go through them and yeah, spilling the tea. I also just really wanted to use this new teacup set that I got because it's really cute and why not? So I'm just gonna go through them all as they came in and just randomly select some. There's no particular order, so let's just start. So the first one is, are the master's courses considerably more demanding than undergraduate courses? So I would say definitely yes. And the fact that the way you approach a master's course is going to be very different to undergraduate. When I was doing my undergraduate degree in classics at Warwick, it was very much you're there both for the studying and for the social life. Like, you get to have fun and go out with your friends a lot. And whilst you still get to do some of that at master's level, you look at it much more as a professional 9-to-5 job with the amount of work that you're having to do. Additionally, because I came up from Warwick to Cambridge for my master's, there was another almost leap in the amount of work that you're having to do. Warwick was still very difficult and I had to work very hard, but the way that the course works and the university works is very different and you do just end up having to put more hours in. Okay, so the next one is on a similar kind of vibe of, are you still able to balance workload and social life? Yes, to an extent. I think there's always going to be moments where you slip up and you lean too far on one way when you end up just burying yourself on work because suddenly all the deadlines have approached at the same time, or you have a little bit of time off and get a little bit carried away and should be doing more work than you actually are. Again, I think it was a little bit easier to balance at undergrad. Maybe there was a bit more of the temptation to go out more, and because it wasn't COVID and lockdown, so this year's obviously going to be a bit difficult. But I think generally, as long as you're strict on yourself, have good timekeeping and scheduling skills, you can manage to do both, just to the lesser extent that you would have been used to before. This one's a little bit more classics related, so this is career opportunities for classics students. And to this I would say that if you are studying classics, it's a question that you're going to receive a lot, be it your parents, colleagues or friends. They just don't really understand what it is a lot of the time. They're like, oh well, it's just ancient history, it's just this. But it's actually an amazing subject to give you such a wide background, because depending on what modules you take, you can end up looking at politics, literature, art, language, and it gives you these amazing transferable skills, and especially the essay writing side of it is it's what employers are really going to be looking for. And because you're covering such a wide range of subjects, possibly even in the same day, it shows your versatility, and again, it's something that people are going to look for. So opportunities wise, it's absolutely endless. You can obviously stick down the classics and history route. You can go into curatorship, museum work, excavation work, which is amazing. You can also go more down the literature side, so you can look at being an editor, maybe publisher, writing for magazines and so on. Or you can go down the media side of it, and that's what I know a lot of my friends have done. And even still, you can actually go back into more finance stuff, and it's really amazing. So if anybody asks you this, please feel free to shoot them down and give them a lecture, because it's just not true, the assumption that you don't have a lot to do with it after, because there's so much you can do. Okay, this one's quite funny. Is there a North-South divide at Cambridge? So I would say not really. I think beyond the walls of CamFest, so if you're not at university, CamFest is this thing that you're going to have at most universities where it's an anonymous Facebook page that you submit different questions, statements, and so on. And it can be really fun, and that's where you'll kind of see this idea manifested, is that there is this kind of divide between North and South with the different colleges, and there is a healthy competition, especially amongst colleges, but it's not that deep, so don't even think about it half the time. So this one's a little bit more deep. Did you ever consider dropping out due to the workload? So I would say whoever submitted this, I'm not going to say who submitted any of these, but if you are going through this, I'm really sorry, and there's so many different people that you can reach out to, both mental health wise and just trying to organise your time a little bit better. And don't feel alone, because I think at everybody's point in university life, there comes a time where you suddenly go, I can't be bothered anymore, I want to drop out. And it passes, it really does, and you will get through it, because each deadline comes and goes, and the year is nearly at an end. You're going to get through it, and it's only a small portion of your life. Obviously, I don't know what you're going through. You could have been through a lot of difficult things, and there are obviously options of taking a little bit of time out. You can talk to your tutor, and they might suggest that you just maybe retake the year, come back, and that's also great. So I wouldn't be worried about it. Personally, as I said, everybody goes through those times where you just throw a hissy fit and you just don't want to look at your work again, but then inevitably 10 minutes later I realise I don't want to fail and I come back to it. So I would say yes, everybody has those feelings, but I have managed to get through them. I think you just need to install some kind of technique to start to cope with the workload, and that just means scheduling regular breaks, finding what makes you happy to balance out the stress of the workload, and yeah, I think you'll get through it, it'll be fine. So another kind of Cambridge one. This one says, I have an offer for Cambridge Classics, but don't know if I'll be able to handle the workload. Okay, first of all, congratulations. That is absolutely amazing. I don't know whether it's undergraduate or postgraduate, but either way, that is fantastic. So because I don't know whether it's undergraduate or postgraduate, take what I'm going to say with a pinch of salt, because it's going to be different. I would say if you've received an offer, that means that you're working at a very high standard, and it means that they have faith in the fact that you will be able to manage the workload. Even if you're doubting yourself, just know that they have confidence in you, so you should as well. That's not to say it's going to be easy. Obviously it depends what you prioritise in life. If you want university to be more of the experience of university rather than the work, then perhaps somewhere else would be better for you. But I think if you've had the offer, go for it. I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think if you don't go, it might be one of those things that later in life you come to regret, because it still is an amazing experience and it will open up so many doors and so many opportunities. And then equally, if you get here and you find you just don't like it, you're not coping, it doesn't fit with your kind of work ethic, then you can just change. You can drop out. It's not a big deal. I know so many people have. My sister dropped out, changed universities, so many people do, because I think to get lucky with the first university you're at is amazing, but it's like finding almost the right shoe size. You need to find the right fit to be able to thrive and function to your best ability and get what you want out of it. Okay, this is a good one. You are now fluent in hieroglyphs. I absolutely wish. I don't think many people are. If you don't know a lot about the language, it's obviously, if you've seen the film The Mummy, like my phone case, fantastic Christmas present. Symbols, kind of almost like when you look at like the Greek alphabet and stuff, it doesn't use the typical English letters, Latin letters. So it's a very different way of learning the language, and with ancient languages especially, not many people are going to be fluent in it in the normal sense. I would absolutely love to. I am currently studying it. At Cambridge, it's a very intense course, so I have managed to progress quite far with it, and I'm relatively good at languages. They're kind of my thing a little bit, but definitely far from fluent. But I appreciate the fact that you would assume that, because I must be doing something right. Another kind of Cambridge specific one. So this says, do I need to choose a particular college to apply for? No, you don't. You can instantly go into the pooling system, which means you'll basically just be put available for all the colleges, and they can come and pick you, choose you, if you suit the kind of subjects that they're offering, the kind of funding, or just general vibe. Ooh. Yeah, so you can do that. I personally don't get the appeal to that. I don't really know why people do that, but it is a thing. I would always rather research, because through colleges is where you'll get your funding and you'll meet the kind of people that you're going to be friends with. So I think you almost want to research that and end up at the right kind of place. The same way that I said about universities, you're going to want to research and find what fits you. Okay, so are some colleges harder to get into? Yes, I think there's always going to be the more prestigious ones that I think are harder to get into. I'm not specifically sure how it works, because I don't know if it's really done off grade basis. I'm not quite sure. I think some are definitely harder to get into because more people will go for it, but not necessarily purely academic. I think because more people are going for it, it does mean that you're going to be put up against other people more so than if you're applying to a smaller college, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that really helped, but do with that what you will. Finally, do I enjoy living in Cambridge? Yes, I absolutely love it here. It's one of the most beautiful places I think I've been, and I think because of the Cambridge workload, it's a fantastic place to be, because you have those moments of stress and despair, and you can go on the most beautiful walk and you see all of the old buildings and architecture, and you just remember where you are and what you're doing it for, and it's kind of beautiful in like a non-cringy way. It's just very nice, and I think just the way that the city functions is lovely. The only downside is that because it is so beautiful, it can get quite touristy at times. So I was almost lucky in the fact that during the first term, because of everything that was happening this year, that it was very quiet. However, as things have started to open up again, I've started to appreciate just how busy it can get. Like, if there's even the slightest hint of sun, the fields, all of the parks are just absolutely chock-a-block. But luckily, like I said, there is a lot of parks and areas to go to, so it is just really nice, and I like the people here as well. I've managed to make some amazing friends despite everything, and it's just lovely. Okay, I've actually got time for some more. So what do Cambridge people actually think of Oxford? So obviously there's always going to be the Oxbridge kind of divide, and it's just banter. It doesn't mean anything. However, we did win the boat race, so we are superior, but you're alright. You're fine. If you could be a Roman emperor, which one would you be? Fantastic question. So I go Elagabalus. Absolutely insane, horrific, but kind of fantastic in the insanity. Like, inventing the lottery, but not in the modern concept of you win money. Fantastic. Of I'm going to throw dead dogs and snakes into a crowd. It's just hilarious. And like, the hosting of dinner parties and hiding animals in people's rooms and switching out the food for rocks. Beautifully insane, almost poetic. I just think hilarious. If you're gonna go actual success, then obviously we've got to go Augustus, because I mean, basically built Rome. So pretty impressive. So that is the last one that I think I'm going to have time for today, because I need to stop procrastinating and get back to revision. So I hope that was a bit of fun and just a little bit of relaxation from work, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!